is good, YouTube? Krishan checking back in with another video. We are only days away from the 2025 Arnold Classic, and I could not be more excited. Let's start today's video off with a recent physique update from Mr. Olympia, Samson Dauda. And Samson has been pretty quiet when it comes to physique updates as of late. Don't think we've seen a real physique update from him, at least in the past 2 weeks. But going into this weekend's Arnold, I am expecting our current reigning Mr. Olympia to walk away with the title. And based off everything I've seen from Samson this prep, I'm expecting him to come in improved from the Mr. Olympia. The last thing we need to see is the conditioning. Is Samson going to improve the conditioning from the O as well? Now next up, let's talk about a wild card for this weekend's show, and that is none other than Carlos Thomas Jr. recently posted up a crazy front double bicep. Did not get any back double bicep poses this entire prep. Not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Carlos is a wild card going into this show. Crazy physique, crazy arms, legs, tiny waist, but he's going up against some real veterans in this show. If Carlos doesn't bring the conditioning, imagine him next to a guy like even William Bonac or Brandon Curry in a back double bicep. Guys are going to be tough to beat, but I'm excited to see this young guy up on stage. Now, speaking of the former Mr. Olympia, Brandon Curry, he recently posted up some updates, and I have to say, all of the updates I've been seeing from Brandon as of late have been very impressive, and there's absolutely no telling what he's going to bring. I feel like when a guy has won the Mr. Olympia, you can just never count him out. But just being transparent, I'm going to go with the same thing I said in the last update. Brandon looks to be a little bit downsized to me. These images are a little bit zoomed in, makes him look bigger, but looks a little bit smaller. Now, speaking of the conqueror, William Bonac, he recently posted up this back double bicep. And if some people did not have William in their top 5, top 6, top 7, I'm pretty sure they just moved this guy up. All of last year, I counted out William going into every single show, and he placed higher than I predicted him. Going into this year's Arnold, I'm not going to count out the conqueror, William Bonac. I'll say this. I'll be surprised if Bonac doesn't walk away with at least a top 5. And next up, we have a recent physique update from the giant killer Shaun Clarida. And based off all of the updates we've seen of Shaun this prep, it's possible that he brings his all-time best this weekend. But Shaun is going to be going up against some tough guys and some taller guys in this lineup as well. And some people say that the height doesn't really matter. Shaun is very complete, pound for pound, one of the most muscular guys on stage. But think about it from a width perspective. Place Shaun next to an Andrew Jacked or Samson Dauda in a front lat spread. Gonna be a very big gap in clavicle width, which does matter. But Shaun is the giant killer. He's an absolute freak. He's beat guys that have placed well at the Mr. Olympia before. I'm excited to see what he's gonna bring this weekend. But again, complete wild card, and just because of his height. Let me know in the comment section below what are your expectations from the giant killer, and hopefully we get to see him at his best. And switching over to classic physique, we have a recent update from Mike Sommerfeld, also ahead of the Arnold. Mike said about a month ago he was done posting updates and then proceeded to post more updates. Also not really a fan of how he holds his legs in their rear relaxed pose. But the reason why I'm such a fan of Mike Sommerfeld, and also why I have him winning this upcoming Arnold, is just because he's very, very complete. When you put him next to all of the other classic guys, he's just the guy that has the least amount of flaws. Also an incredible poser and brings great conditioning as well. I'm excited to see if he can improve on the package he brought to the Mr. Olympia. Now next up, very, very exciting. Logan Franklin looks ridiculous right now. And I'm really, really rooting for this guy to get into that top 3, maybe even a top 2. That's bold. There's more of the fan in me talking, but I don't think a top 3 is too far-fetched for Logan at this show. And of course, open bodybuilding is extremely exciting at this show, but I think classic physique is going to be exciting as well, because to me, outside of the first place placing, everything else is almost up in the air. I don't think Wesley is guaranteed a 2nd or Michael DeBoer guaranteed a 3rd, but that's just me. Now, out of the Arnold Classic updates, I did want to talk about this update of the mutant Nick Walker, because it's going to be a long time before we go back to regular updates. A lot of Arnold Classic stuff to discuss. But the mutant will be competing in this year's upcoming Pittsburgh Pro, and again, this is going to be a big year for Nick. Has not competed at the Mr. Olympia in 2 years. Everyone is calling him Nick Talker. He has been doing a lot of talking lately, but Nick looks pretty good. Nick is absolutely massive, and as we know, Nick's game is to come in big and conditioned. We just want to see how is that going to stack up now to the more aesthetic guys that have gained a little bit more mass. Yes, he was beating guys like Samson when Samson did not have the mass, but once the more aesthetic guys filled out, they started to surpass Nick. So let's see how this year's Pittsburgh Pro goes. But that's going to wrap up today's video, guys. I hope you did indeed enjoy it. And if you have not done so already, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. A ton of content coming this weekend for the Arnold. I'm Shaun from Go Fitness, and that's it. I'm out.